Which were the names that would come out? Bill Gates.
Burns.
Yes. So you can Warren Buffett, you have Bill Gates, you have Carlos Slim, you have Larry Ellison, Sachin Tendulkar. Not yet, thankfully, it's just in the world. I hope you never get that too. None of these people have grown rich by speculation. They have grown rich through hard work. They have grown rich through building blocks and blocks of businesses. It was single-minded effort. There was hard work that went in, there was a lot of discipline that went in. But the path to wealth has not been speculative. Speculative is also transitory, comes and goes. And hence that is definitely not a path. Building blocks is a better way to go. Discipline has been one clear element which I have seen amongst the more successful business people. They make an effort to go, to learn, practice it. So some of us say being calculative is negative. But being calculative is what has preserved money for the business people and has grown it. So if you look at the most successful business communities, whether in Bangalore the Shetties or the Marwadis elsewhere, or the Guptas elsewhere, or the Chettiars elsewhere, they are calculated. In other words, they respect wealth, they respect Lakshmi. And only when you respect wealth does wealth respect you back. You need to be very calculated. There's one business person, one of the largest in the city here. I remember about 12 years back when I went to him and explained to him what mutual funds were all about. It was new to him. He had no idea about mutual funds. He was already running a large, very successful business empire and his profits were in crores. He learned from me, and once he saw sense in it, he took a week's time to study the subject carefully, called me back and said, Srikanth, let's start investing. The point is, he took that week's time to study it. And after that week, the number of questions that he would ask me on my own subject amazed me. And he's probably a better expert at it now than me. And since then, he has grown his portfolio many times over. Many times using, though he's knowledgeable about it, he still uses a professional. That's where his business instinct, his time is to his business. And he uses the correct professionals wherever appropriate. But taking the trouble of researching is important. Now, how much time would some of you use to buy a new LED TV? You'd go to the website, you'd go to the stores, you'd read some magazines, you'd go to CNBC group, pardon?
The fast website, a minute.
A minute. And then you go through a number of minutes and you go through reviews and say, okay, how is this model and how is that model, what is LED and what is plasma, and probably spend some time. But I have seen people spend a fraction of that time to make an investment decision. So there is a dichotomy. You want to spend more time to buy a TV and much lesser time to make an investment of your hard-earned wealth. So you just say, a friend tells you, buy Reliance tomorrow, it will go up 10%. Thak, 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 you put the phone down, call your broker, buy 100 Reliance. Not a second is spent in thinking about it. Whereas if you have to buy a TV or a mobile phone, you'll spend hours together going through many shops, comparing prices, comparing features, comparing specifications. So there's something in the mind which says investing is like a lottery. You're not supposed to put effort. You're supposed to take decisions based on gut. But no businessman I have seen becoming wealthy has chosen to make decisions purely based on gut. It's a combination of research and then overlaid with gut feel. Same with investments. You need to do your research first and then possibly use a little bit of your gut. And that is how I've seen business people grow wealthier. As the business becomes more successful, as you're able to generate more cash flow, you have a tendency to spend that money. Okay? You improve your lifestyle. You buy more things which are not required. And that is where I would say try to put a stop to it and look at it another way. So wealth generated in business needs to get to other places. Remember that eventually you're generating wealth which needs to give happiness to you and your family. How do you achieve that? You have to make sure that portions of wealth being generated in your business are squirreled away, meant only for your family use. Retirement is one primary need. Children's education and weddings are primary needs. Owning enough securities and assets for your family and giving them comfort are primary needs. So just before coming here, I was with a client of mine, and the problem was, given their lifestyle, I had calculated that they're over 39 years old. By the time he's 57 and ready to retire, he's going to be needing 20 crores to live a comfortable lifestyle. Comfortable is just today's lifestyle, whatever he was living. And he wanted to spend a couple of crores for his only daughter's wedding and send her abroad for education, which would be costing another crore or so in today's terms. So all these come together, and where do you accumulate them? As a businessman, he says, I'll take it out of my business. 4 years later, I'll just draw 1 crore out of my business and buy the ticket and send my daughter to the US. 2 years later, I'll draw the 2 crores or 3 crores out of my business and use it for the wedding. Imagine if it was a cyclical business and all your money is stuck in receivables. What happens? You're not able to draw this out at all. And that is why little by little, if you're able to squirrel away the money on an annual basis, whenever you finalize your balance sheet, or on a monthly basis, and accumulate it for your other needs, then this portion will always be happy. You're not going to be risking your business, nor are you going to be risking your family. Retirement is also something that you need to look forward to. I'm talking to a host of young people here, okay, about retirement. It is something that has to happen one day, and you might as well plan for it. If you're going to be needing 20-30 crores accumulated, it requires some amount of time. It requires some amount of deep thought and allocation to the right assets. One day you have to come out of your business and give it over to your son or your daughter, or maybe a professional. What happens after that? You need to live. Right? You are giving away your share of business to your family. What about your income? So you have to plan for it in advance rather than much later. Also, if you keep taking the surpluses generated on the business into the same business, you're increasing the risk. If your business goes through hard times, all your money would have been in that one basket which has failed, at least for that bad economic period. It is important to diversify your assets. It is important to take some money out of your business, which could be, say, construction, and putting it in technology, which follows a different investment cycle or a different economic cycle. So the diversification is important. And this is how you preserve the wealth, which would. Another element of planning is to again take away money regularly and create contingency funds. Contingency fund could be your family, contingency fund could be for your business. You have a sudden new order. You need working capital. If you have kept away money regularly by the side out of your surpluses, this would be useful. You don't have to go begging or borrowing. It would be available. Or even if there was a family emergency, there is some untouched pile in a safe asset and liquid asset which you can draw. So typically these things should be liquid and it should be safe and not volatile. So if you go ahead and make the emergency asset in a property, you're not going to be able to liquidate it when you need it in an emergency. Your choice of assets have to be liquid. So remember, you have properties, you have bonds, you have equities. Three things which you should be able to invest in continuously. All your money in property is not good. All your money in equity is not good. And all your money in bonds and bank deposits is definitely not good because it doesn't fight inflation. I have this businessman client, and now, even after a series of educative sessions, even for a day, he doesn't leave money in his current account. The moment he gets some sale proceeds, he'll call up and say, there's money in the current account, I don't need it, put it into a liquid fund. Even a day's return is valuable on money. Current account earns you 0 interest, right? Whereas a liquid fund can earn you 7-8%. Take it straight away there. It's still available within a short notice. The last element of this triangle mantra is giving back. Whatever you earn, remember that one element has to be dedicated to giving back. You take any well-respected business family or professional, are they giving back? Yes. They are definitely giving back in one way or the other, either time, effort, or money. Unless you complete that cycle, society is not going to respect you and give you back to them. So for everything it has to be planned. Even giving back to society has to be planned. You have to say this much percentage of my wealth I will give, and you cannot afford to be uncontrolled in that. Emotions have to play a lower role when you're talking about wealth. Either when you're earning, preserving, or giving. There's no role for emotion. There's only role for logic and plan. Giving with emotion is letting go of your senses, in which case you have no control of it. And it soon does happen. You may be large-hearted, but use that large-heartedness to control your giving habit in a proper manner. So we create corpuses for charity also. How much do you want to give? You want to give 1 lakh a year? So let's create a 10 lakh corpus. And the income from that will go to charity every year. So it is sustainable. Whatever you do needs to be sustainable. Lastly, wealth cannot be generated by hoarding. Wealth can only be generated when wealth is flowing. So if you buy gold and lock it up in your locker, you're not generating wealth. It's an insult to Lakshmi. Lakshmi happens when the money is flowing. It's like blood. What happens when the blood in our body stops flowing? We die. Wealth also needs to be flowing, and that is quite good. Keep it going. Invest somewhere. Keep it rolling. Unproductive assets are gold. Unproductive assets are land. If you're earning a rent out of the land, it's productive. If it's just lying there, unproductive. Gold also unproductive. Stocks are very productive. Bonds are productive because the money in turn is going elsewhere to generate jobs, to generate generation of new fixed assets, to help the businesses grow. So make investments in such areas where you become wealthier and you're allowing the world at large to become wealthier. So this in brief is my triangle mantra for all of you, and I'm open to questions subsequently.